What's up, my fellow scruffy looking nerf herders, and welcome to the Carbonite Chat. Today we're going to be talking about another fan film called Days Past. This might actually, it's right up there with Emergence, which I covered a few weeks ago, for one of the best shot fan films I've seen. Very good acting in it as well. I believe the person that did it is actually an actress herself, the main character in the kind of the episode. I call it a TV show. I'll explain why as I get into it. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. It will be linked down below because I'll be going into somewhat of spoilers for the fan film. So go watch it. It's worth a watch for sure. It's about 15 minutes long. I'll say this before, kind of view it how I viewed it, in the sense of it's like the opening of a new TV series. Like if this was episode 1, or maybe a long prologue to episode 1 of the new TV show for Star Wars that they come out with on their new Disney platform or whatever. And that mindset is kind of how I see it, where it's this development of these two characters and a little bit of kind of hinting at their past and what's going on there, and then it's end of prologue and it cuts back to the very beginning where you go through and see the stuff that they talked about. This, again, as I said, was very well shot. The other actors that you see at the very beginning that are only in there for a very small amount of time aren't the best, but the two main characters that you're with in the tent the entire time of the story, they are both pretty good actors. As I believe I was saying, the YouTube channel that put this out, I believe the girl, the woman who is in it, is an actress, and it was kind of like her way of doing kind of like a reel to show her abilities, and she was really good. I wouldn't complain from what I saw. But also the Imperial agent, Lieutenant, he was actually pretty good as well. There were some few little moments, to the point that, again, it's not as good as this, but the fact that I'll even compare it because I love and adore this movie shows how well they did with it. But it reminds me a lot of the opening scene of Inglourious Basterds, where you've got Hans Landa and he's coming in to interview, and the way it starts out kind of cordial, kind of nice, and then slowly builds into this like, okay, this isn't going to go well. He's not there to be your friend, and I really enjoyed that. I really liked it. The way it was done, though, for me, it kept harking back to like a Breaking Bad type thing, where it's kind of slowly paced in a situation like this, and it's building up and it's setting up something, and it reminds me of, I can't remember what season it is, maybe season 3, where you constantly have each shot kind of opens up with the season with stuff falling from the sky, and the whole time you're wondering what in the world happened, and then you finally get to like, oh, this is why this is what we've been seeing. And that's why I think what would have been really cool, because the show's called Days Past, or the fan film's called Days Past. It could work really well as a TV series where you could open up with this, and as I said, this be opening of season 1 or episode 1, or just a long prologue to episode 1, and you see their interactions and see what's going on, and then it goes to Days Past as the opening, and then it cuts to however long ago, where her working for the Empire, and then she meets Lieutenant Dawes, I believe his name was. She meets him, and they begin to, we see this kind of building up of this relationship, and it builds up to either right before he's about to step off and go in to find her, or I think which would be really cool is kind of like a nice little twist, is you build up to where it's like the middle of the series, and you build up to this point. At this point, she's obviously left, and began to kind of build up this kind of rebel cell, and you see that she knows something's happening, she knows something's coming, and either from the look on his face when he's starting to leave, that he's like questioning it a little bit, what she said, and so he goes back in there and fires, and she's not there anymore, that she actually went down in the tunnel, and of course you think the whole time that we're going to get to the point and she dies, but it's like, oh, shock, no, she got away, and he's actually kind of questioning a little bit like Callus in Rebels. Or it could be something where she kind of had an idea of what was going on, and that's why she was at the end trying to like really get on him and like, just make him so angry that he's not paying as much attention. And so when he would come in there, and like when he walked out, because she knows that he's not supposed to come in and shoot her like that, that it's supposed to be the stormtroopers, but the stormtroopers would come right in and make sure she was dead for sure. She came up with that. She came in and she like put on some kind of bulletproof type thing or something, a laserproof type thing to be able to allow him to shoot her. Let him think she's dead, and because he's so angry, he's gonna shoot her and storm out and leave, and then they'll think she's dead, and ultimately though she ends up getting away. That's something that could be a possible thing. That could be a little shock ending, and then we move from that to the second half of the series that follows along and shows that they realize she's still alive, or that she hides out. She puts on some kind of suit like a bounty hunter or something like that, so that she's still hidden away, and it's a reveal later that he thinks he's killed her this whole time. Maybe he's captured some of them, captured her in the mask, and he's bragging about how I killed your leader before. What do you think any of you can be able to do? And then it's revealed, no, it's actually her. He's blown away. I don't know, I'm just tossing out ideas, but I think for seeing this, it was so well shot. It was really well done, and it made me think of like, this could be a very interesting TV show for Star Wars. I know a lot of people don't care about that stuff. I would enjoy seeing that if it's obviously well done, and Kathleen Kennedy is nowhere near it. But I think that it could be very interestingly done. Maybe like a 8-episode miniseries or 10-episode miniseries or something along those lines. I think that it could be stretched out a little bit further than that though, because I think there's a lot you could chew in. You could begin to show the training and the life in the Empire, much like if you read the novel Lost Stars, which I very much enjoyed, by Claudia Gray, where it kind of delves into what is life among some of the cadets in the, while being in the Empire. And I think that would be really cool to show that, dig into that, and begin to show how their life is, what's going on there, how all these little things that we haven't really seen before, because we know Star Wars isn't going to anytime soon come up with anything original in any new place or location, so might as well do this, because they're not going to do anything like widely original, like not being around the original trilogy while they try to destroy it, yet make all their money off of the nostalgia from it. But in the end, I think this was a really good fan film. It's up there in my top. I don't know if I prefer this or Emergence. Both are so well done. I'd have to watch them side by side. I feel like trying to pick a favorite out of those two is just doing a disservice to the people that worked on those fan films. They both deserve a huge amount of credit. Those are probably my 2 favorite fan films I've seen up to this point. I only have a few left that I haven't seen to kind of judge, or maybe I've seen them all. I think there's one that I haven't seen yet that I'll probably do next week. But outside of that, I think I've seen pretty much all of them at this point. So those 2 are probably my favorites at this point. And third probably being Rebel Scum, maybe. But I'd have to do a little thoughts on it. Give it a little more thought on exactly my opinion. But I really enjoyed it. You should definitely watch it. One other one that I'll throw in there is another one that I've seen that's really well shot. There's not really much story to it at all though, which is why I didn't want to do a full episode on it. But I've had it saved in my tabs to kind of decide whether or not, I've seen it like 2-3 weeks ago, whether or not I wanted to do anything on it. But then I decided in this video, I'll just tag it on the end for another one to watch. It's called Kara. Again, I'll have that link down below. It's only like 6 or 7 minutes. Again, there's not a story to it. It's just really well shot. The actress is actually from, I believe, the TV show Inhumans. But it seems to me, and I think I may have read in the description, but again, I saw it like 3 weeks ago. I did rewatch it before this, but I didn't read the descriptions like an idiot. But it seems to me it was kind of like a redo of kind of like an introduction to Rey. And I don't mind her introduction per se in The Force Awakens. That, it's setting up like, oh, she's alone, blah, blah, blah. But then she has nothing else in her character from that point on, really. But this character actually has, you see there's a struggle. You see there's something in there that, she's got some anger. She's got some frustration. And it sets up that there's something, I think it would be, it's a better shot introduction to Rey. Outside of that, it's a well shot film. It's short. And it's, if you want to watch it, it's down, a link down below. I don't have much to say about it. It's so plain and basic, really, in what it does. there's nothing to talk about. It's just like, oh, it's well shot. If you want to watch 6 or 7 minutes of something that could have been a slightly interesting opening to what's happening, you know, in The Force Awakens, where you have Rey, that could possibly be something that you would want to see, or something in some other time or place. But it, to me, was more like Rebel Scum, where it didn't have as big of a story development, but it was really, really well shot. But then again, Rebel Scum had a better story in it. It just wasn't like a story. It's more of a short than a fan film, if that makes sense. But anyways, that's linked down below as well. But again, Days of Past, for sure, is a really good fan film. I really enjoyed it. I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below, whether or not this would interest you as a possible TV show or series. Again, they will be linked down below. Thank you very much for watching, and never forget, you Nerf Herders, I love you.